Hello, everyone, and happy Thursday. Almost Friday, so it is take 5 today. That's 10. So maybe just one. You can take 10 if you want. It's probably going to take a little bit longer than 5 minutes anyways for me to do a little bit of art here. So Thursday, yeah, almost Friday. Welcome. It's probably going to be a little bit of a shorter stream today. Got a little packing to do. My husband and I are going for a little excursion this weekend, so gotta go do packing. But it's gonna be worth it. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe I'll try to keep this around an hour and a half. We'll kind of play by ear. So let me go ahead. I'm just gonna dive right into it. I'm gonna share my screen. Let's get that sharing. Get this posting. And ding. All right. That should be good to go. And I'm going to go ahead and center this. Probably should do this ahead of time. Sorry about that. Ooh, open. So this, first of all, for you guys who are new, welcome. My name is Jessica Vanderpool, and I am a comic artist and illustrator. And I'm working on a little graphic novel called Interstella. And I'm doing a little pilot comic, a 30-page long pilot comic. I'm getting close, but I'm kind of in the doldrums at the very end. I'm almost there. So I've been working on that for my last few streams. You may see a little bit of the process that goes on behind the scenes of creating a comic. So today, actually last week, I decided to also take 5 and just do a fun little illustration, a little relaxing illustration of my main character, Stella, who is a space angel, and she's taking 5 here and listening to some music. So last week I had a sketch and I inked it and I flatted it, which means that I put in the base colors. So no shadows, no highlights, just the base colors. It's pretty simple, and I can just keep it pretty simple because we're taking 5 today. We're just taking a moment to relax. So let's see. So I'm in Clip Studio and I have a bunch of layers here. So I have my flat colors layer right underneath my lines. So I can toggle that on and off pretty easily. And then I have my lines on top, and I separated it from the face lines here. You'll notice this little icon here. Clip Studio has this magical thing called vector layers. That's my favorite thing right now. Vector layers are great because you can use a vector eraser and manipulate them at different junctions instead of having to adjust manually. Make sure, there we go. And whereas manually, I would just have to erase like that. So there are pros and cons to both. I like to use both. Yeah. So before, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer here in a moment. But before I do, I am going to check the chat. Hey guys, welcome. Hello, Tobias and Dan and Jessica, and welcome. So yay. All right. Dan asked, what kind of music would Stella listen to? Probably the music I listen to. Let's see. She's probably listening to some kind of electro, maybe Orbital, the band Orbital, if anyone knows them. Raise your hand. Music I would play if, what do you call it? If YouTube allowed me to. So I will figure that out soon. Okay, so I went ahead and I created a layer right above my flats called Shades. And I'm going to go ahead and clip that. Let's see if I can hover right over it. Yeah, clip at below layer. So what this does, if you are unfamiliar, it's a great tool to use. Photoshop has this as well, where if you have a color, it stays within the bounds of whatever it is clipped to. So if I were to unclip that, you can see, it's obvious. So we'll clip it. There. Actually, there we go. So I have my handy dandy palette with my cheat sheet, and I'm not sure usually these are my shades I've been using. I'm just going to start with this one for now. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out when I usually start by shading one of these things for more complex. One thing I will mention is I always have my shades set to multiply. So I'm going to do another layer here. I might do a quick little, what I call a mock-up or a test. So I will use a different kind of brush, a little gouache brush. So I don't always do this, but basically what this does, it kind of gives me an idea of what kind of shading I want to do. So sometimes I just paint it in. I'm going to be doing cell shading. You'll see what that is in a moment if you are new to that. My eraser. But this just kind of helps, especially for more complex things like the page I was working on today, which honestly, this is actually going to probably be done pretty fast. So I might pull up that page and work a little bit on it. You'll see what I mean. I already did a mock-up on it because I've spent a lot of time in the past shading something only to step back and realize that the light logic was all wrong. I also use the lasso tool here, and I can hide the lines or I can make them appear. So you kind of can see, like, this looks pretty spot on. I probably wouldn't need to have to do a mock-up for this, but you do. I mean, like, you basically, you get the idea. Like I said, this is a little overkill right now doing a mock-up, but okay, it's just a rough idea. Sometimes it just saves a lot of time. It takes the guesswork out later. So I'm guessing the lighting's probably coming down from above somewhere. And shading the face is tricky, honestly, for me, especially, and actually pretty much for anyone. It does require a lot of reference. You can kind of cheat on certain things if you kind of know roughly how light falls across a face. But if you're doing more complex things, it's always good to have some reference. It'll be something like that. And you know what? I think this might be kind of good enough for me just to give an idea. The hair, like I said, we'll kind of have the light coming from above. Ooh. And then, so this is very sloppy. It's going over on other lines. That's okay. Just getting an idea. Kind of treating this. This might be a little bit of a gradient. But, oops. Already, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. It's like, okay, we know where this light's going to go. Whoops. And this is going to cast a shadow here. I'm not going to worry about too much of this thing here. That in the back of the hand might be a little bit of guesswork. So we will see. But that's kind of roughly what I'm going to be shooting for. So, and let's see, checking the chat. Helen is joining in. I also want to know what music she would listen to. Orbital sounds good. They are good. They are. Oh, look who's here. What's up?
Hey, what's up?
You're alive.
I know. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry for being alive.
Well, no. I just, I was like, I've been trying to catch your streams and stuff, and then either I forget or I mix up the time because you're in a different time zone, and so. But I planned it today. I was like, so you sent out the thing, and I was like, I know, and I figured it out last time, so I know. So. Hi.
Well, I've not been very regular either. I've kind of been a little bit here and there, and lately have settled on Thursday. So, figuring out this live stream thing.
For sure.
Yeah.
I was just happy. I was like, yeah, I can do it. The kid's going to be at daycare school thing, and I'll have time. So it all kind of worked out.
That's so great. Well, it's been a hot second, so welcome back.
Yeah,
It's good to
yeah.
see you.
Good to see you.
How is life and how is Goma and everything?
Goma is good. I had to drop another printer, unfortunately, and it was basically like their staff got the thing, and then they got really behind, so they had to basically like either say we're not going to get your order for like 6 months, or so I was like, so it feels like I'm in a weird way of having a product that no one can print.
That's not what you would expect going into this.
No, but and also I decided, because I've been just taking my time and kind of going through it and stuff, that the general consensus is that the story's too big to fit in such a few amount of pages.
Mm-hmm.
So I've decided that I'm going to break it in half, and then I'm going to make another part 2 of the book.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it kind of relieves a lot of stress, because I was literally like, it was like copy paste, cut paste, and then I had a bunch of material that I wasn't using.
Mm-hmm.
So now I get to use a lot of that material, and I'm really happy about it. So I'm making another one. It's gonna be a part 2 of this.
That's, yeah, I can see that being actually pretty relieving. That it's not the stress of trying to get it all in one go.
Well, it got to the point where it's like, when you price a book, you do a lot of research on like how many pages does it cost to make a book, and then how many books do I have to sell to do this and this and that. And it got to the point where I was at too many pages for me to be able to print them and ship them out to people without it costing literally myself an arm and a leg.
Huh.
So I had to basically be like, I have to cut out. I can't go past 120 pages, because if I do, the book, the price of the book, it like doesn't double it. It gains a half of a, what was it called? Instead of it being like $10 to print, it becomes $15.
Mm-hmm.
You go past a certain point, and the way you're supposed to combat that is you order like 1,000 books. But I didn't make that much money to order 1,000 books and ship them out. So it's like I have this weird balancing act where it's like, I can't do this, I can't do that, and the story's too big, and I don't want to destroy the story. So I did this, and so far the reception on the backers has been like, yeah, no, do it. Yeah, do a part 2.
Now, is that because of just the volume itself, or the way it's printed in, was it like multiples of 16 that they just couldn't go beyond a certain page range?
It's not that they can't go, but it's just the price just goes way up, and I can't with how I originally priced it for what people bought. I can't do that without it all of a sudden like well, I'm already not making profit off of this. I'm already put in a lot of my own money investing into like other artists and making the prints, and now I'm looking into making trading cards and stuff. And I'm putting a lot of my own money into it already. But if I were to make it into like the 250 page book that I want, in order for it to contain the story in a good way, I literally it'd be like I'd be paying every backer to have the book. So
yeah,
shipping's already like, I've already figured out how much it's going to cost to ship international, and it's like most of the campaign money just for the I think it was like 30 people that I had that were international.
Really?
It's huge. Yeah, I have someone that I have to ship a decent sized box, because she ordered like everything you could possibly get, and I have to ship this thing out to her in Norway, and that alone is like $120. So,
huh? Interesting.
Yeah. So it was a very, very intense sort of like, what am I gonna do?
And that's because of just how much material's in it, like the size and the weight and everything.
Yeah, it is, because I have to put. So I have the box has to be big enough to fit these giant prints in them.
Oh, that's right. You had the prints.
Yeah, and so that it's long and then it's tall because there's some other goodies in it that I did for her because she specifically asked that she could have like, you know, like a shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like I went and already, you know, like ordered those things, and then, you know, the box, if it's an actual box and it has dimension to it, the price goes up like so much compared to like a just a like a envelope size.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's not even based on weight. That's the weird thing. It's like dimension is far more expensive than weight is. But it doesn't weigh that much. It doesn't weigh over 2 pounds. But
vacuum pack everything.
Yeah, but it's because of the dimensions of it. It's like if I ship it in the U.S., it's $40. I ship the thing in the 40, and I was like, why is it $40 to ship this thing? You know, and they're like, oh, it's because the dimensions are wide and big, and it takes up a lot of room, and also it has to be, you know, I have to put like an insurance on it because it has so much expensive things in it.
Yeah,
that I really don't want destroyed. So it's just just for one person. So yeah. So if you decide to do a crowdfunder, you know, something to consider. You know.
I was gonna ask. So if you could make some choices, if we were to do this again, what would be some of the things you would change?
On the next campaign, I'm definitely going to make it so that the prints, I'm going to size them down. And they're going to be cheaper, of course, but I'm going to size them down.
Are you shipping them in a tube or flat?
Flat.
Oh, that takes up a lot of
Yeah, but the tube is actually more expensive because it's 3-dimensional.
Yeah,
it's actually way less to make them flat, to send them flat. It just cost me more in materials because I have to put I have to get these giant, you know, waterproof envelopes that I then have to put this like really heavy duty thin cardboard. It's almost like a what is it called? That plexi wood kind of stuff.
Huh.
But it's really durable and really hard, and it's thin. So I put that in there so it doesn't bend. And then I have like a huge roll of 2,000 stickers that says "Do not bend."
Please.
Yeah, it does. It says "Please do not bend." You know, but so it's like, you know, just a lot of things. When you send out big things, everything kind of goes crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I ship stuff to family like all the time back home in Washington, and it is amazing how, you know, you're like, oh, this is not going to cost that much, and suddenly you're like, what? it adds up so fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, oh, interesting. I know when I'm going to say when I do my first Kickstarter, Indiegogo, or crowdfund, whatever, I'm considering just keeping it pretty simple, maybe doing like mostly the book and like a couple small perks.
Yeah, that's definitely what I would do. I would look into doing like small things like trading cards and things like that, because I wouldn't price trading cards, and they're super dirt cheap. Like I can get like 1,000 for $25. And I was like, and that's double-sided with the UV lamination thing that they do.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, I should have offered it. But everybody's gonna get a few of those because I felt bad that it's taking this long to get it to people. So I was like I got to do something to make people, you know, feel like the wait is worth it.
Yeah.
Like, what can I do? And then I was talking to a friend, and they were like, I did trading cards, and it was pretty non-expensive, and they hooked me up to this person, and I was like, wow, this is really cheap. I'm gonna do it. So I make some trading cards that everybody will get.
Now, what was your original date you were sort of anticipating to get everything shipped out?
I was hoping to get everything shipped out in I think it was May.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like I thought I was all being optimistic.
You know, nothing happened.
Keep getting crazier.
Yeah. I'd say nothing really happened in 2020 to cause some delays in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, it was already supposed to be like I got some people that contacted me. It's like, hey, I haven't got my book. What's going on? You know, and I was having to send out enough of those where I was like, I got to address everybody. I got to address this to everybody.
Yeah.
So I did, and so far the reception's been pretty good and whatnot. So.
And you funded it in May. When did you fund it again? It was like a soft funding, and it was extended for a little bit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it's kind of weird. Is there's actually been 3 campaigns on this specific project. I did one last September because I wanted to have the book out in March of this year. And then right before that happened in February, I ran a campaign to get anybody else that wanted to get on the project before that happened. But this is also after I decided that I was going to change the art of the whole book and redo it.
That's right.
So when I talked to my original backers, they were like, yeah, no, this looks so much better. Continue on. I was like, cool. So then I redid all the stuff, and then it's grown. It's gotten bigger. And now it's so big that I can't fit it into one book.
I know.
So I gotta make another one, which I don't mind doing because I think it'll help with the story and the pacing and everything. Because that was my big worry, is that I was like, this is it's an epic tale, and it's not like one of those. I'm hoping this is something people will read over and over. This isn't just something they'll buy, they'll pick up, they'll read it once, and then they'll never read it again.
Yes.
You know. So like I want this to have like staying power. Yeah. And so and all the advice I've been getting from people who've read the story and stuff so far is that it needed to stretch out the story, that it feels rushed. So
now, was that your original plan? Is just kind of like a one and done book, or
it was just supposed to be like a book on this particular character.
Yeah.
I was going to do another book on the other characters that are a part of the story. But this story is kind of it's more important than the other ones because it sets up the world. So there's a lot of kind of exposition on kind of talking about why the world is the way it is, to explain a lot of things that the other books don't really have to focus on that. So they can focus on the characters, you know?
Yeah.
So, and because of that, a lot of my feedback has been that I needed to add more pages, tell more story, and that I use a lot of, I'm doing this visual medium, and I'm having too much tell, don't show. And it needs to be the opposite. I need to show.
Yeah.
So I need to show more.
Which consequently makes it a lot longer, but it makes it good.
Yeah, it makes it better. So.
And I mean, for epic stories, it's hard to get it wrapped up into one book. Heck, even like one movie. If we're talking about all forms of stories, they tend to be better, in my mind, spread out a little bit.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea what you're doing.
Unless it's The Hobbit.
Yeah.
That's the only time I disagree with that, is because I was like, man.
You're talking about the book or the movie?
The movie. The Hobbit as a book was fine. When he decided to make it into 3 movies, I was like, it didn't need to be that. It did not need to be that at all.
It didn't. It was beautiful just as a single. It was complete. Yep, I agree with that. I do love the book, The Hobbit. 3 movies kind of went on and on.
And it felt like a lot of it was unnecessary to push the story that was going on, Yeah. I know he wanted to have all the moments and the visuals and everything to really push the fantasy world and stuff like that, but it's just, I don't know.
I hear you. I agree with that. Let's see if we get this chat right. Let's see. Check the chat. I just saw a bunch of people chime in. Yay! Ben is here. Let's see. Everything happens for a reason, says Tobias. That's my belief. Yep. So this is probable to ensure you get the best story out there possible.
Yeah.
And Joe is here.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Also, I didn't want to just jut out like a product, you know, in the way of like, you know, you get one really good impression from people, you know,
Yeah.
and then that kind of, I didn't want to, I don't know. There's just a lot of my thoughts, and I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. Eventually, it's just going to be, it has to come out right now. And right now, it's mostly a printer issue.
so I'm sorry, just to refresh, what is are you like, when is the next printer? Like, how did that resolve again?
Oh, well, no. So I had that one printer that backed out of the agreement we had. So I was like, okay, well, bye. And then I got another printer, and then they were like, well, I put in my order and stuff, and then I got contacted by one of their service representatives that they're extremely backed up right now because of everything that's going on. And I was like, oh, okay. And so now I'm on the hunt for another printer, and I put in an order for another printer, and I'm hoping that it goes through.
Yeah.
Issues, you know?
Yeah.
But it's everything. I'm just like, why? Can I just do this thing?
That's, I didn't even think about that. Like, it didn't dawn on me, but yeah, I could see why people right now are, backed up with all printing and everything.
Well, also, it's like they're trying to do school. A lot of these printers, they get the only reason why they survive is because they'll usually get like a school or something to kind of use them regularly. And with them, like the school's not opening and stuff like that, they're having to downsize. They're having to do all kinds of things to try and keep afloat.
Yeah, yeah.
So
and
I'm just like,
is this overseas or stateside?
oh, stateside. I'm not going to do overseas.
Yeah.
Because it costs like 3 or 4 times as much to do it overseas too.
Is that
I couldn't afford it.
No, I'm asking you because I hear, like, I'm interested, I'm learning, but you hear a lot of people being like, yeah, it's a lot cheaper to get China to print it, but then you're dealing with, longer turnover times and a bunch of other things. So, but that doesn't really sound like the case.
Well, yeah, I would say it's true about, if you use like Print Ninja or one of those companies is located in China, but right now I wouldn't print in China.
That's true.
Just because of everything that's going on.
Yeah.
I am staying away from anything that has to do with China.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I'm actually like looking
size too, promoting.
Yeah, well, it's eventually I'm just gonna have to like bite the bullet and just say go, on a printer.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably what's going to end up happening is I'm going to have to pay a lot out of pocket to do it because it's just going to cost more to get it done.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I was looking at the same printer that Doug TeNapel uses for Earthworm Jim and stuff, and they're really good. There's the only thing is they're really expensive, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't like it when like all the plans fall apart because like before I even planned this campaign, I had a printer that I was going to use and had a price point that was worked out,
Yeah.
That's another thing about like all this crowdfunding stuff. It's like because there's a time factor and things change. I guess my best advice is have the product ready to go. As soon as you get the funds, you can just go. And don't be making the product while you're doing all the crowdfunding and stuff because you'll find yourself in my situation where things have changed and
then
the book was finally ready. All of a sudden, I didn't have my deals, and they so
yeah, and you're trying to market and make something at the same time, so there's that as well.
kind of interesting though is that when you make the thing in front of people, it's a good way to advertise it though. Like when I got my most backers and stuff when I was on Jason's show, showing people, what I'm making while I'm, advertising it.
Yeah.
So
that's really cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it's like, people like to see it get made.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely good exposure. Now, when you say you'd prefer to have it all made and ready to go, you're talking about like the product itself, or like pulling all the perks together too.
Oh yeah, just the product itself.
Yeah.
Thing that you're trying to sell completely, ready to go to print essentially, so that all you're waiting on is like the funds to pay for the printing and stuff, and then you're on your way.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to do that for the part 2. Is I'm going to have it completely done and ready before I do the campaign.
Okay. Yeah.
So that way,
Now this is your second crowdfunding, because you said you did one like 5 years ago or so with a few other guys.
Yeah, like 2000. Wait, it was a long time ago. It's 7 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I did and it's actually part of this is I did basically a pitch book for the Golma, and it was just basically the written stories that I had hired a bunch of writers to do, and I did some art and designs, the interiors and stuff, and I did that way back in 2013, and that went pretty smooth though.
Yeah.
Because I had already all the characters done, drawn up and stuff, and it was just literally doing design work, InDesign, putting the book together, and then doing some editing on the stories,
Right.
So I wasn't actually like the big creative push on that. I was waiting for other people to get their creative stuff, and I just had to be like a manager, and that was easy. But this time around, I'm like pretty much, I'm the writer, I'm the artist, I'm the advertiser, I'm pretty much everything. The only thing I'm not is like the editor. So
did you get an editor, or are you just doing that yourself?
No, I got a few editors. I got a bunch of editors, a bunch of people to look at it and stuff. So
yeah, was that helpful? Like you paid an editor to look at it?
Yeah.
You recommend?
Yeah, it's really helpful because that was when I realized it's like I was letting other people read it that I trust, and then I was like, well, I kind of need an outside, someone who doesn't have any bias towards me or anything, to read this to let me know if it's actually good or not. And so you do that and you get some honest feedback, and that was when I realized like I really need to break this into 2, because all the other people were kind of hinting at like it's kind of got a pacing issue. But they didn't want to tell me like straight up like, hey man, this is good, but it could be better if you made it longer, or
or they just don't know how to fix it.
Yeah. People are sheepish on telling you how to do what you do,
That's true.
But
they know you.
Yeah. so you get that honest feedback, and you're just like, okay, this is something that I've been thinking about. It's something kind of like, it just kind of confirmed what I was thinking. So
I'm glad to hear that it's a weight off. Just to hear that though. I mean, not having read the story, but understanding how stressful it can be to try and fit something in, and the pacing, it's just not working. I could see how that really alleviates a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Well, also there was this moment where I had put a part in, and it was 20 pages of story that wasn't necessary, and they told me to just take it out. They just told me to like basically delete 20 pages, put something new there. So I was really fighting that, because I was like, I don't want to I don't want to have to redo 20 pages,
So you redid it or just delete it?
No, I deleted them and I redid 20 pages.
That's rough.
Because what the consensus was is that it basically was like it was a little offshoot on the story, but it didn't really have anything to do with the story. It was just kind of something fun I thought of.
Yeah.
Doing.
To augment it.
Yeah, I didn't push the story at all. I didn't and in this, it kind of left it where it starts. It leaves other characters in an awkward place where you're constantly thinking about what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, what ends up happening is that they were like, I just wanted to skip these 20 pages and get back to the story. And I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, oh no. So that
But you
happened.
that as something else, like as a bonus, or kind
Well,
of
no,
side story.
it was another thing that confirmed like why I needed to do a second part and break it up, because that actually works out perfectly as a story plot if I were to make it and put it in the second part, because it would be a great place to start on the second part to get you into the story from part 2. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to waste these 20 pages, but it'll just have to be in the next one.
Yeah.
Then edited slightly. So
Yeah.
it wasn't. It's not like it went to waste. It's just,
Yeah, you can always use stuff like that, but
Yeah.
it's still the notion of like, I don't want to get rid of that. That's
Yeah.
still 20 pages of a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, and also the nice thing about doing it this way, where I'm going to have basically I'm going to cut it off at around 100 pages of the actual story, is I'm going to have the actual book is still going to be 120 pages, but I can put all the concept art and the fan art and all the other cool stuff that people did,
Mhm.
and I can have basically a showcase of stuff that people did, and I can put that into the book, and I'll have room to put it into the book because
It's not that. Yeah, exactly.
So
that was the 20 pages you took out.
No, no.
Or there's more you took out?
I did. I took those 20 pages, by then I refilled them with more comic.
Got it. Oh, okay.
So, but by by doing that and then coming to the conclusion that it'd be better to break up the comic into 2 parts, it made it so that I can break it up after I think 5 chapters, and then I'll have room to actually do some cool stuff for the people that have been supporting me and whatnot, and add all this art and also a bunch of the sketch art and behind the scenes stuff that I wanted to add. I just didn't know if I was going to have room.
Right.
It allows me to do all those things I didn't know if I was going to be able to do.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Which I think people will enjoy,
Yeah.
Because I'm going to have a lot of the process of how it came from this style to the original and stuff like that, and have the story of how this was perceived and made and stuff,
Yeah. I think I like stuff like that, a little behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what better way to package that up in crowdfunding? And you're going through Kickstarter, is that right?
I did both at the same time. I double dipped.
Hey, you know what? I'm hearing a lot of people double dipping, and it seems to be a handy thing to do.
It is, because I didn't advertise it all on Kickstarter, because Kickstarter's platform since it has a better search and result system and stuff like that, where people can just browse and they'll find your product by just simply browsing.
Mm-hmm.
They have a pretty good algorithm for that Indiegogo doesn't really have.
Okay.
So it was kind of interesting, is that Indiegogo, I'm doing all the advertising for that and trying to get people to go to it, but Kickstarter, people just finding it and backing it. So I literally made $2,000 off Kickstarter just by putting it on there and not advertising it at all.
That's awesome. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah.
It's really cool to hear.
Yeah. The only thing is that if you do Kickstarter and Indiegogo, you have to have a special perk for Kickstarter that's exclusive to Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you did a different cover, in a Kickstarter exclusive cover or something like that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing you have to do per their terms and policies, that they have to have something that defines it as a Kickstarter project. So
interesting. Okay. So you have to do that if you are doing another Indiegogo.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Thing is, actually, I think you can get around that rule if you start your Kickstarter first and then make an Indiegogo.
Okay.
Because of the way they kind of search for your project,
Right.
So if they, look for your project and they find that, you already have an Indiegogo and you don't offer anything special, then they'll say no. But if you do the Kickstarter first and then you do the Indiegogo, they've already searched and they can't say no.
Well, maybe that's why people like start out with one and follow up with the other.
Yeah.
I could see that. And or managing one at a time, and or giving people a second chance who discover it late. So I could see perks just for that alone.
Yeah. But it's super easy. You literally can copy and paste the project from one place to another.
Cool.
Because of the format of when you're originally setting it up is pretty much the same. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So it took me I think 2 weeks to make the Indiegogo project and write it all up and get it all organized and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took me maybe 30 minutes to get a Kickstarter ready to go after I got the Indiegogo ready to go. So
that's actually really nice to hear.
Yeah. So it's not like you're going to have to go through the process twice, really, of making it. So.
Oh, and Craig is here. Welcome.
Hey, what's up, Craig?
It's all right.
Much.
That's fine.
Glad to see Zach is alive and well and
Yay.
doing good.
Yeah.
He's been telling us all about his Kickstarter and the yays and the woes.
Yeah, I was listening to some of that while I was getting myself set up here.
Yeah, right. Crazy wild ride. It kind of makes me now wonder if I want to try doing a Kickstarter this year. I'm not even, how about I finish the book first?
No, it's kind of crazy is that the numbers are finally out on majority of what's going on in crowdfunding and it's spiked as far as the amount of people that have joined and the amount of money that's been made has spiked this year because of everything that's going on, because people can't go out and buy things. So they're using crowdfunding and whatnot to kind of do fund purchases that they would usually go to Barnes and Noble or something to get their books and stuff, but they can't. So
well, shoot, now maybe I should do it. If you can find a printer, right?
Yeah, if you can find a printer.
That's a caveat. Wow. Well, I'm grateful to learn and just glean all this knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you're working on something, but you're welcome to share your screen, or you're just welcome to hang out, Zach.
No.
And I see Craig. What are you working on today?
Well, I think I'm done this page.
Okay.
I never feel like I'm actually done.
Join the club.
Yeah. And I'm going to do some thumbnailing, Jessica.
Oh yes!
You encouraged me to thumbnail things, so I'm gonna do some thumbnailing for the next page.
Do it. Yes. It's help. Yes, absolutely. Thumbnail. As a bare minimum, it's so handy.
Mm-hmm.
I've just started, as I was explaining when I just started to stream, I just started doing more mock-ups when it comes to value and shading. I just used to plow right into it and then find out that I did something wrong and then take a lot of time, and I have to it takes out the guesswork. So
yeah.
And thumbnailing is good.
Yeah, I'm finding, particularly in these scenes where there's a lot happening in the same space, and it couldn't get really boring if I don't look for interesting angles and interesting poses. So I'm going to have to play around with it a little bit. Yeah. I'm very pleased with the way the cracked glass turned out. I kind of like that effect.
Yeah, nice highlights.
Yeah.
And just good job on everything else. The way that you still design the clouds around her, so you can still see her.
Yes.
It frames her well.
I took your advice. I had to create extra layers for that, though.
Yeah. As many as you need.
As many as you need. That's right.
Years.
Yeah.
Just space on your hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, cool.
Are you working on something new, Zach? Or are you just muddling through with all the behind the scenes stuff for your Kickstarters?
I'm actually working on a commission that I can't show. So
Ah,
I'm sorry. I'm fully.
Okay.
But I promised I would come and hang out. So
Okay.
I am here.
I am
Good
glad
stuff.
you are here. Glad you guys are both here.
I know I've been trying to tune in when you do stuff, and I've been seeing all kinds of new characters popping up, and I'm like, cool, people.
Yeah. You had four. You had like 4 people on a couple streams ago.
Yep.
Um,
Dan and Heidi joined us 2 weeks ago. So Dan might be able to come on today, but we'll see. Yeah, it's always kind of like a we'll see who shows up.
was it? Is Heidi's the one that was drawing the bunnies?
Yes.
Yes, I looked at her website. It's got some really nice stuff on there.
Yeah, she does. When I was in Seattle, I was actually going. She had like a book signing event with this, and I was gonna go visit it. You gotta call.
Yeah, I'll just ignore that. That's okay.
But that was literally when the world shut down.
Yeah.
They were like, we're not gonna, everything got canceled, and then it became a trend. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I was like, well, let's just Zoom and kind of virtual coffee date. Hi. But
This message is for Craig. It's Sean calling back from Phillips Lifeline, just returning the message you had left me. There's service was away from my.
there you go.
Oh no, personal data.
Your credit card number, is this correct? Let's say it out. Okay, well, he's working on you got under control. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do next with this. Just gonna sit here and say, whoa, that's not the right color.
I miss Jason.
I know.
I'm like, it's been over a month, Jason. Where are you?
So I hopped on the Patreon call last
Oh,
Friday.
did you? Oh.
I did. It's like, you're live.
So what's
He's
his-
all like, I'm not ready to go back to Facebook. Kind of, sort of. Or not Facebook, YouTube.
So he's taking this opportunity to be kind of a slacker about it. Okay, I understand. He's like, oh well, you're doing it, Jessica, so I don't need to.
What?
He's like, well, you're doing it right now. You're the the leader of YouTube, so he's like, I don't need to be there.
Someone took over for me. No, that was kind of funny. Actually, he was saying, he's like, I want to really pull back from live streaming and really focus on putting more like finished art projects online. And he's like, no offense. I'm like, none taken. I knew what I was getting into.
This was never permanent.
I affirm. I just like to work with others, and it helps keep me sane. So I know it's like at least once a week, I gotta talk to people. I'm gonna see humans, apart from my husband.
Right.
The life of a solitary artist.
Mm-hmm.
I just like going to a place where there's like an air of positivity, because I can't talk to anybody or do anything that doesn't want to dwell on the current situation. I'm like, I just want to go talk art. I want things to be normal again.
Yeah.
You know. So
Nerd out. Yeah.
So thank you, Jessica, for offering a safe space for us to talk about art.
Of course. Well, that's my desire too. I want a safe space where people can come and just have fun. Let's art. Let's chat. If you're having a bad day, come sit, come hang out. We'll make it better. At least we'll try to. As long as YouTube won't kick us off.
Nope.
Oh, by the way, Craig was here when I YouTube shut down my stream for the first time.
Yeah. And you know what? That was the only time Fuzzy was on.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was of course, it was just a silly thing that Mr. Algorithm bot was like, and we're like, wait, what? But they put it back on because I emailed them nicely and I smiled through the email and said, we were talking about good things, and apparently it was back. So
did they tell you why at all or anything? Just or was it just algorithm angry, grumpy bot?
just Grumpy Bot.
Okay.
99.9% sure it's Grumpy Bot.
Mhm.
Man, I cannot figure out wings.
Yeah, I don't think there's any human involvement in those takedowns. It's all just automatic.
I mean, I was actually surprised that. I mean, I'll double check to make sure it's still there, because they're like, it'll come down in 7 days.
I mean, I was actually surprised
Ah,
that.
ah,
I'll double check to make sure it's
Stop. Sorry, feedback. So what happens when you open up the thing? Let's see, because I am curious if it's still there. Yep. They let it be.
I have to say, Jessica, I never mentioned it to you, but on one of your previous streams,
Mm-hmm.
I went back and looked at it, and the live chat comments don't seem to come up when you post the stream after the fact, like the recorded stream. But somebody had put an inappropriate comment on your stream, and I reported it.
Oh, thank you.
And it came back, and I reported it again, and then it was gone. But you might want to just check every now and again.
Was it in the live chat or in the?
No, it was in the comments after the fact.
I think I saw that, and I thought I got rid of it, but I'm
pretty sure it's all gone now, but
yeah.
It's just worth taking a look.
But nothing to do with the live chat.
Nothing to do with the live chat.
Okay.
Nothing to do with anybody that was on the stream, which is some random person doing something stupid.
Robot, random person.
Yeah.
Trolly troll, being a troll.
Yeah.
I just think that they're bots out there. I don't know. It could be live people, but
Could be.
just blame it on the bots.
Blame it on bots. That's a nice positive outlook.
Blame it on the bots.
It's just some robot saying, I think this is what humans do. Humans do this, don't they? Based on all the comments I've looked at on the internet, this is what humans do.
Yeah.
It must be more like human.
And then the Matrix has us.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, were we talking about this? I was talking about it with someone. There was another Matrix coming out.
Yeah.
Fuzzy mentioned there was a new Matrix coming out.
That's right. A lot happened during that stream, apparently. We talked about much.
I miss the fun.
Well, it's still there. You can go back and see it.
Yeah, but I wanted to be a part of it. There's a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Fuzzy.
I know.
Yeah.
He says it's going to be it might be a while till he gets a chance to get back on.
Yeah, well, I hope he's doing well and his wife and kid are doing well. So
I was going to ask him, and I haven't yet. I wonder how his the Webtoons thing went.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So he filled me in because I don't know if you heard this. It was quite unfortunate. There is some miscommunication with the deadline time where it came down to time zone. And unfortunately for Origami Princess and the Reigns of Jasmine, he missed the final cutoff. And so they wouldn't even allow him to post. They wouldn't even allow him to post the finished, just to finish up the comic until the whole contest was over. So all of his fans had to kind of like,
all those zippers. Dang it. You know what? That sucks. That really sucks.
I know. I felt so bad. I went through it, and it's a great piece of work. So I haven't seen if he's updated it since then, or I think it was the end of July is when they announced the winners. So
What he needs to do is, he's made a bunch of little comics like that. He should make an omnibus of all his comics, and then just put that online and do a crowdfund for an omnibus of all of his comics.
Yeah. And would you say omnibus or anthology? I don't know.
Anthology, I guess, or I call it omnibus, like the compilation.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
if that's wrong, I'm sorry.
I didn't know if anthology was like multiple creators, because I've always referred to stuff like that, like make an anthology of your own work, but it could be multiple creators. But yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
He's
I
cranking
don't mind.
stuff. Technicalities.
Yeah, I'm blown away by how. I mean, I know he was working crazy hours, but how much stuff he puts out and the quality of it.
Mm-hmm.
It's remarkable.
I wanted more. What was it called? Dead
Dead Air.
Dead Air. I wanted that. I wanted more of it. I was like, dude, you should just screw this the whole entire Webtoons thing. Make this an actual comic and crowdfund it. I was like, man, this is cool.
Mm-hmm. It's. I mean, admittedly, I forgot that it was just a short story contest, and I was kind of like, wait, what? We're done?
Yeah.
Like, oh man. Let's see. Tobias. Yeah. They postponed judging they postponed judging due to entries being so numerous.
Ooh.
What?
Does that mean he got a second chance?
He should. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. Josipa says, this stream is really productive. What's with Fuzzy? Josipa, I don't know if you've met Fuzzy yet, unless you watched some of the past stream that he was in. Yeah. But Josipa got the 3 Z's correct. The reveal will be the 20th of August. Interesting. Sorry, go ahead.
I hope they gave Fuzzy a chance to actually contribute the last piece, because
yeah, we should make a petition. Free Fuzzy or something. Free the comic. All right. Thinking of August 20th, my little nephew is 10, and so he's really into Minecraft. And every time he calls us, he's like, or what is it? He and 2 of my nephews are planning on doing some crazy Minecraft venture to go beat the Ender Dragon or whatnot. And he's like, we want you and my husband's name is Cody. He want you and Uncle Cody to join us.
Sounds like an epic journey that I would go on in an instant.
I mean, I looked at Cody. I'm like, we're doing this. Like, but the problem is that I play a little bit of Minecraft, but not like a 10-year-old. Nothing out. Yeah. And I was once 10, and I remember how much time you spend playing video games. So I'm just like, okay, how are we not going to drag this team down? And Cody's played a little bit, but he's not a huge Minecraft fan, because in his mind he's like, what's the point? Like, you're just building a goal. I'm like, you kind of defeat.
Oh, that is the goal, though. They gave him a goal. They said they were going to take on the Ender Dragon.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a goal.
It's not that convincing to him. He's like, I'm going to go play Dragon Age.
Have you ever actually taken on the Ender Dragon?
No, I'm still in the Bronze Age when it comes to Minecraft. I haven't done anything where you build switches and things yet. I just like running around with a sword and building cabins.
Yeah, I've never gone that far with it. just done some building, some survival games, and my daughter is definitely way beyond me with that. So
It's fun.
Well, first off, you need to find Enderman, and then you have to kill them and get the Ender eyes.
Keep telling me secrets. I need to know. I have to
Yeah.
get trained up. August 20th is coming.
Oh gosh.
So that was the thing. He's called us and he's like, I'm trying to schedule a day where we all can get together. Is 6 o'clock good for you guys?
Oh, gosh.
Whatever works for you guys. Like, don't count on us, buddy. Like,
Mm.
we will make it if we can.
See, I have a bunch of nieces. I have one niece that just turned 10,
Mm-hmm.
and she plays Minecraft, but she doesn't really. She plays it, in a creative. Doesn't do the survival.
Ah,
mhm.
yeah.
And my wife has been playing Minecraft since I introduced it to her before we were married, and she has a map that's almost 10 years old.
Wow.
She's been recreating our hometown.
Oh, hometown.
So she'll jump on that every once in a while, and then my daughter's been, who just turned 5, is getting the hang of it really well, which is kind of crazy to watch her play Minecraft. But the thing is, she likes to destroy things.
So she's not allowed in the hometown?
She's allowed, but my wife made a little house for her to destroy. And the first thing she did was fill it with bunnies.
Uh-oh.
And I
That's
was like,
concerning.
yeah, that's not. Don't blow up the
No,
bunnies,
this is
sweetie.
awesome.
Yeah.
What
I don't care if
happened?
it's not real. Huh?
What happened next, Zach?
They're still alive as far as I know.
Oh man.
But she did break the walls and they're escaping everywhere, and which is kind of getting my wife a little agitated because she's trying to build and there's bunnies jumping in front of her blocks and stuff when she's trying to build something, and so
I love it.
kids.
Because that's the stuff we would do when we were younger too. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I used to play with my dad, I would purposely kill him in really weird ways in video games on cooperative play, just for fun. And now that I look back on it, I'm like, wow, I was a jerk. I was a real jerk. I would have socked myself or played with myself back then and been like, cut it out.
Right. There's every now and then I come across like a little audio file. If my brother watches this, he's gonna kill me. But oh man, so he and his friends made like this little company when they were younger, because they're all inspired with like tech companies and everything, and they named it. And I was like, "What's your product?" And they're like, "We're still figuring that out." But they would do all these little audio recordings, and it's just so funny. There's still somehow on my computer, and every now and then it kind of comes across my iTunes, and it's like their little squeaky voices, like like just talking about random nonsense. You look back at the things you said and did as a kid, and you're like, "Yep, that's stuff a kid would do
Mhm.
and say."
I still have songs that I made back when I was like 13, and I thought I was gonna be the next big thing. And I went back and listened to some of them, and I was like, "Wow, this one's not half bad." And then go to the next one, like, "That's real bad."
Yeah, I think I wrote some really dark and depressing lyrics at some point in my youth. Thankfully, all that was lost in the moves.
Oh. The record
Not like
label.
that was purposeful.
I was gonna say, lost
Came
in
up-
the
He
mood.
came up, you open a box and you find these recordings and stuff, and you're just like, into the fire. Oops.
Yep.
Oh,
No
no.
one will ever get to hear those.
Oh man. It's almost like I still save all my sketchbooks and I save all the old drawings in them. And it's fun to go back through the years and be like, I remember when I was in that phase. Like, oh, that's sweet. Oh, that was my experimental phase. Like just trying to figure out how to draw things. It's funny. But some stuff is like, this is actually pretty good. And other things like, ooh, cringeworthy. Okay, I added more to this thing, but that's fine. I'll finish it up a little bit. Maybe I'll work on the giant page I've been moving way too slow on. I'm at that point in this comic where I am getting really close to the end, just of the pilot comic, knowing that, like, okay, I got to change some things for the graphic novel. But it feels, I don't know. If any of you, I don't know if anyone's ever run track and field, but I used to run the 400 meters, and it's a grueling, horrible race. And you just be sprinting the whole thing, and finally you come to like the last 100 meters, and you're so darn close, but your body's just going into rigor mortis, and you can't barely move, and you're going in slow motion. So that's what it feels like right now. So close. Trying to stay motivated. Ugh.
I had that like last month when I was finishing up the first part, where every page just felt like I just breathing hard and just trying my best.
Yeah.
The what is it, the what is it called, the feeling of relief that you get afterwards? What is that specific? There's a specific word for it, but that feeling of relief when you finally finish it, though, it's actually like counterproductive in so many ways. Like, you're so happy that it's done, but the thing is it feels like you go into like a state of depression because then you don't know what to do with your life.
Yeah.
What? There's a term for it. I can't remember what that's called. It's like post-production something.
Oh.
Something where it's like when you finish a big project or when you've just been waiting for something for a really long time, like trying to achieve any sort of goal, and then you finally achieve that goal. There's a state that your brain goes into where you kind of like feel like the world has ended. You know?
Oh yeah.
So that was me last month. I was like, yes. What do I do?
I wonder what the science is, behind that, because it's easy to be in a habit. Like, you wake up, you go do your thing, or you have whatever rhythm you have doing something, doing art, whatever. And suddenly when that's changed and disrupted, it's kind of like panicky. Almost like, what do I do? Like, what? I gotta do something. Yeah.
I stooped to watching. Mine didn't stoop. I all I did was turn on Amazon Prime, and I started watching old movies. Get me out of it. It was actually really, really good. It's because I ended up watching a bunch of movies I've been meaning to watch.
Yeah.
I watched Escape from LA and Escape from New York, which wasn't the best choice to watch during what's going on. They kind of hit too close to home. So, and then I found a series called The Mentalist that I used to watch with my father back in college, and I've been binging that with my wife. So, good times.
It's good to refill your well, your creative well. I think I've found myself, if you push it too hard and too long, like, you can become just creatively exhausted. You got to take that time it's good to take that time to replenish that.
Yeah.
But it feels weird because you're so used to working hard at it. So in a way, it's kind of like, is this okay? Should I? At least that's how I feel.
Yeah. And then you kind of dread the next project in a way. You're like, oh no.
Do it again.
Yep, it's time to do it again. So I took on a bunch of smaller kind of commission work to kind of adjust my expectations and things, where it's like, okay, I work out one day on this and then it's done, and then I am happy. It felt like I did something today. I deserve a cookie.
Yeah. Hey, I did something, and it didn't take me 5 months.
Yeah.
Hey. Oh, let's see. It feels weird to go into a painting and not plan it out that much. I'm so used to really spending a lot of time laying the bone work, but whatever. It's just this fun painting. Oops. I'm gonna actually put on your screen for a little bit, Craig.
Or-
And thanks, guys, for jumping on. So I feel like it's on me the whole time. I need to like here. Here's a hot potato.
Although I'm sure your fans much prefer to see your work, but I'm happy to give you a break.
I appreciate it. Okay. I should make a point of how to finish this, otherwise I'm spending a lot of time on it. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Bye. It's not working. That's not working. Oh, that's why. Okay.
So you get to see the really, really ugly part of the process.
It's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
I say that's the I like seeing stages like that. It's the real process.
Mm-hmm.
It demystifies making art.
Yeah. I do find it fascinating how different people work, though, because I definitely come from a more gestural background. And so it's just the way my brain works. I just have to, quickly get in gesture and movement and sloppy kind of stuff to get the ideas down. But I've seen artists who seem to just visualize everything, and then they very slowly put one line on the canvas exactly where it needs to be, and then they put another line. I can't even fathom how they do that.
I would submit that's the smaller portion of artists who do that.
Yeah.
Or not a totally different realm of art that doesn't involve a lot of drawing from realism.
Yeah.
I could be. That's hard.
It is, and I mean, of course, I'm biased. I value and appreciate the way that I do things, and I like that lively, little bit crazy kind of style sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I find those kinds of artists, when I look at the final pieces, they look a little stiff to me.
Yeah.
But if you're going for hyper realism, maybe that's what you want. I mean,
Or I think depending on the level of how you can just put a pencil down and go for it and get it your first try, it's a very, I don't know. That's a talent. That takes a lot of. It's just a totally different way of thinking.
yeah.
But I mean, it's interesting because I've taught art in the past, and a lot of students think that's what you do as an artist because they see a lot of artists do that, or they see enough artists do that.
Those are the Instagram artists.
Yeah.
That's why.
artist. Can't do like an Instagram artist. Well, apparently I can't do it. I'm not. I was like, no. To get
Yeah.
to that point, they've done a lot of. You see their highlight reel.
Yeah. I think a lot of stuff people post on like Instagram and even YouTube, some of the speed paints and stuff like that. They've definitely done a lot of work before they hit record.
Yeah.
It,
I was watching someone, where they do the painting where they have, or like the drawing, and then they, this is like an Instagram art, they'll do the painting of the face, and they don't even like put a layer down over the whole canvas, but they like do realism just on the area. So it looks like everything else is just a sketch or just raw paper, and suddenly this face appears. And it's really cool. But I look at that and there's part of me that just twitches a little bit because I'm like, that's such an impractical way of doing a painting.
Yeah.
That's not how you paint. You're teaching people wrong. No. I mean, it's fine. It's cool. It's for show.
Yeah.
Like, I dislike trying to approach a piece, finishing one portion of it, because I found that it lacks cohesiveness. I mean, talented artists can pull that off, and if you're doing it for show too, you're there for more performance art than anything.
It's kind of like the like I said, you said performance art makes me think of those people that perform on stage and they have like the canvases that are upside down, the big black canvases, and they just splatter stuff all over it. And then when they flip it over, it's a recognizable image, and it's interesting, but not.
It's totally fine. It's just a different style of art.
Yeah.
A different approach. But it's just interesting, like talking to students and being like, well, if I can't do it, like I can't just do that. And well, neither can I. That's only one way of doing it.
Yeah, you don't have to do that to be an artist.
It's cool to see the light bulb go on when I've seen students being like, oh, I get it now. Like I can logically work my way through a piece, and it doesn't take innate talent. Like it takes instruction, and yeah, it's really cool to see that.
Yeah. I have one of my last students before all this stuff happened. He was in that mindset where like, you start off, you just draw these lines. It was like the first drawing you made was the final, and it took a long time to kind of get through to him that layers are extremely useful tools and extremly helpful, and rarely do people not have like 2 or 3 layers of like scribbles essentially to get everything in place before they make the clean lines and whatnot. And when it finally clicked for him, all of a sudden you saw this jump in his work.
Yeah,
because he would do like the sketch, and then he would turn down the opacity and do another sketch on top of that. And I was like, yeah, no, it doesn't matter how many times you do it. When you do it, you're using basically, you're looking at your old sketch and you're saying, what are the things I can fix? And then you're using that as a reference of, don't do that. Don't make those marks and those lines again.
Yeah.
Try different ones.
Yeah.
And that's also why I tell people not to erase if they can't help it, because if you erase, you're more likely to make the same mistake twice.
Yeah.
It's making that same bad line instead of having a reference of like where like, oh, I made that bad line. I don't want to make that same bad line. So I now know where that bad line is, and I'm not going to make that bad line because I can see it. So it's just But then you have people like what's his name? Kim Jong-un or Kim Jong-ji? Kim Jong-ji. Yeah. And then you have people like him who are just like, look at me.
Yeah.
Look at this mech with this beautiful woman fighting in a Godzilla in New York, and I didn't even look up a reference. It's like, shut up.
Oh man, few and far between.
Yeah.
You had to work to get to that point too, and there's certain things I could draw from memory just like that and actually make it look
Mhm.
darn good. Other things, ooh, it's a struggle. And certain days,
Oh, those days.
yeah, that's I was trying to make kind of this drawing because there's certain things where I'm like, I'm trying to get better at getting the musculature in the arm more accurate. And I don't know. I was doing well, like setting aside a time to just practice and do it on my own. And then I stopped. So I was like, I got to keep working on my comic. That's one of the cool things when I was teaching art classes is it was cool to, at least when I approached it, I talked a lot about drawing from the right side of the brain. Because a lot of the students that would join who didn't have a whole lot of, they had maybe a little artistic background, but not a whole lot. So they were trying to use their left brain to draw. And it was really cool to teach how to, I'll steal Jason's term, but cognitively draw using a different pathway in your brain. And that combined with other cognitive pathways as you progress, you see a lot of rapid improvement. It was fun I would throw a lot of exercises their way where they would do semi-blind drawings and, all that stuff. And at first it'd be like, and I would always be like, okay, this first class is, it's going to be kind of, you're going to be tired afterwards, but it was really cool to see their improvement. And I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, how much more do I want to do? I saw a comment earlier. Let's see. Let's see. Jessica said, Jess, that page is awesome. Thank you. Appreciate that. And actually, earlier, I think. There it is. Black Manic Arts page looks really cool. That was Jessica. That was earlier.
Thank you.
It is.
That was probably the page before all this messy stuff.
Yep. Like I said, I'm a little back. I kept all my sketchbooks, even the one I got in first grade, Maria. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I like keeping sketchbooks. It's good to go back. Tobias. You did shot put and discus. Awesome. You were one of the field crew. We now I loved our track team. I remember one time, oh man, what's it? I forgot the term. Oh, you'll have to correct me, but it's something with like the fielder, not that, but they were in charge of designing the sweatpants or the uniform one year. And I mean, being high school guys, they were like, why should it be track and field? Like, why can't it be field and track? So that's what they put on our sweatshirts was field and track. And the rest of us were like, what?
That's funny.
Yeah. We need some love too. Too funny. Okay. And catching up in the last few. Reconstructing the schema by learning the way you think and changing how you think. Metacognition. Ooh. Tobias has the big words today. It says, LOL, Zach, take my money and teach me arts. Hey, speaking of teaching arts, have any of you ever heard of Skillshare or consider that?
I'm sorry. What was it? Skillshare?
Yeah, it's virtual teaching.
Okay, let's go look at this up. Skills share.
Well, I've heard of it. There's a lot of artists that put little courses on there. I think I might have even done a couple little courses on there at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I find all those sites are, it's a great idea. And when they first start out, you usually get some really good people on there. But then as soon as people start having success, you get a lot of people piling on that aren't very good. And then it's hard to sift out the good from the bad. You kind of have to find somebody, see their stuff, trust them, and then go find their Skillshare.
Yeah, I could see that. And I mean, all I can think of is for art specifically, but I would imagine you could get kind of an idea of people's skill by just, what they do.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, you definitely have to. You have to, like, I wouldn't go to Skillshare to try and find somebody to learn from. But
Okay.
if I find somebody that I like and they have a Skillshare, yeah, it's great.
At some point, I'd like to get back into teaching art again. So it just came across, I saw it recently. I was like, oh, that's virtually teaching.
Yeah.
Sounds intriguing.
It's a great idea, though. I think for a lot of artists, it's a great idea to have some things like that. They call it like some passive income. If you have a course you put together on something that you're particularly good at, and then it's out there, and you get a little bit of money to support your work. And,
Variety.
yeah.
Were you going to say something, Zach?
Oh, I was just like kind of impressed by how many different genres and art, just specifically, that they actually have on this. Like I was like, do they have actual comic book artists and stuff? And I looked up and they have some really, really decent artists.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
And I'm gonna look up concept art. Concept art. There we go.
Yeah, I think I saw one, like, I followed the Pinterest trail one time and it led me to Skillshare. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, duh, it's like a novel idea, teaching art virtually, but
Wow.
you're a good artist. All right.
Yeah, no, they got everything. Holy crap.
Ooh.
I got everything. Where was this when I was growing up?
Right?
I would have been like, screw college, I'm doing this.
We had to do this by myself. Oh, don't tell Fuzzy.
Why?
He'll get in a tizzy every time you ask him about college.
Yeah. I'm adamant that college is just a brainwashing sect of people that want to create zombies that have no interest in actually teaching you things you want to learn or need to learn. I'm convinced now.
I had a good experience and I actually learned stuff. I mean,
I learned nothing. I'm sorry. I didn't even make any friends. Aren't you supposed to go to college to make friends?
I mean, I did meet my husband at college, so.
Oh, okay.
There was that.
Well, what college did you go to, and what did you go for?
I went to Seattle Pacific University in Seattle. It's just a small liberal arts college, and I did the illustration degree there. So it wasn't a huge, art program or anything, but it taught me how to be more of a responsible adult, which was still life skills I needed. So. And it taught a bunch of other things, so it was good. It was helpful for me. Okay. I think. Check.
Sorry, it got so awkward. Talked about college for like a second there, but it was just like, okay, we're not going to talk no more.
Well done.
Well, I honestly, I thought about going to one of the university programs here. And at the time, though, this is a long time ago, but at the time, I knew a number of artists who were like working professionals, and they were going through a bit of a slump. It was an economy thing. It wasn't necessarily them. And they were going through a bit of a slump, and I thought, well, this is not the right time for me to make this my profession. So I chose to take something that I felt was more sort of economically feasible at the time. But I've always kind of regretted it. I kind of wish I had pursued it.
Yeah, I mean, then you would be where you are today.
Yeah. I'm only young. I've got lots of time.
Yes. Hey, days they have stuff available for everything. I was just thinking, the one thing that did come up thinking about college is every now and then it's kind of like, should I go get a major or what do you call it, a master's? And immediately it's like, nope, not for what. Like, it's just no point. I don't think.
Yeah.
My experience and what I do is indicative. Okay, so here's my frustration though, is if I want to actually go teach art at like a college setting, I have to have a master's.
Mm-hmm.
Can my portfolio, if I'm teaching art, like can't that just speak for itself? Like I've taught before, like why do I have to get a master's? Anyways, that's just me whining. So that's why I keep saying, I'm like, well, one day, maybe later.
Yeah.
Plus, we're not in an area long enough to really where I can go to school.
Just build your own trade school.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing, is just like building when all this stuff finally settles down and whatnot.
Mhm.
Like investing in like a small studio space where I can actually have lessons at a place that's not my home.
Hey, yeah.
You know, because it doesn't. You don't have to get degrees. You don't even have to have a license. You don't have to do anything.
Yep.
You know, so it's just like I think I'm gonna pursue that, and I'm gonna focus on teaching kids.
Yeah.
Digital formats and doing this sort of thing. Getting into media arts. I would. What do you guys call that?
Yeah.
Like not fine art, but for commercial arts. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where it's comics and movies and games and stuff like that.
Commercial arts. I don't know if that is the right term.
That's why I don't know. But
I know what you mean though. I think there's another term for that, because when I think commercial arts, I think more like graphic designers. But yeah, there's something out that I know what you mean, and I think that's a cool idea, actually.
Yeah. There are a few. There's some online programs that are focused on sort of digital arts, and I mean, from what I've read, and I'm certainly not an expert, if you have the skills and you can identify somebody who has a bit of a reputation that you learned from, that's as valuable as any specific degree,
Yeah.
So yeah, well, I learned from so-and-so who's a professional working in the industry, and here's my portfolio, and people think it's good. Well, that's all you really need.
Mm-hmm. My thoughts exactly.
It's been one of those things where it's like I have a bachelor's in studio and graphic design, yet never ever has an employer ever asked if I've ever even been to a higher education, much less if I have a degree.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like,
I know.
That's why I'm a little bit sour, is because it feels like I wish I had these resources because I could have, because I'm self-taught anyways.
Yeah.
So it was literally just me trying to find any resources online or books or anything to
Yeah.
help me, and I have this huge library of just books that are like how to draw this, how to draw comics, how to draw all this stuff that, back in the day cost me an arm and a leg because I was starving college student doing this thing on the side,
Yeah.
and then, you can go online and then find basically like a pro to teach you, and for a fraction of the cost that it actually cost me to go to college, I'm like,
Yeah. Basically what we do is a trade.
Yeah.
Uh,
so
So there are times where I'm like, I just pay to go to a really expensive college to get a degree that I earn no money on. Like, okay, I did learn other things from there. Like, it was good for me, but yeah, there's definitely some times where I'm like, I had to learn. Apart from what I did learn there, I self-taught everything else.
Yeah.
And no one teaches you how you got to work hard. You got to figure out to get better. It's all on you to figure out how you're going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
And then go and do things and learn from other professionals and stuff like that.
Exactly. And that was the thing that I was told, though, is like, you go to college so you can meet professional people because, the people that teach are supposed to be, professional.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I didn't meet a single professional at my college.
Cheers.
They weren't even making money off their own art.
Yeah.
And so I was like, it was deflating. I had one instructor that was teaching a drawing year 2 class that told me, took me aside and said, "Hey, you're really, really good. I don't know what to teach you." And that was kind of like a really sort of like, I got really angry. And I'm like, why am I paying you?
Why are you telling me? It's like,
Why am I paying you money? And, and I know he took me aside to like do that to make me feel better or feel good about like my level of skill. But at the same time, it's like I don't know, that was kind of like a breaking point where I had a very hard semester where I just didn't feel like doing anything. So I was like, why am I here?
As well, apparently everything in this class, like, I already know. So there goes my motivation.
Yeah. So if you're an instructor, don't do that. Don't do what that instructor did.
If you're an instructor, you probably should figure out more to teach, or you should reassess your instructorliness.
I'm not trying to sound like I was like some crazy good artist. I was just like, he just wasn't that good. I wasn't great. He wasn't good.
Yeah.
I'm not I was not some prodigy. I'm not trying to brag or anything. It's just like it's like a red flag, if that happens.
Yeah. Can I get my money back? Is what you're saying?
No, the thing is, I had to go through the course in order to get to the next level, because they always do it like, here's, introduction to drawing, and they say drawing 1 and drawing 2, and then advanced drawing. So in order to get to the advanced level, I had to go through this course where there was an instructor that was like, I don't know what to teach you,
Yeah, that's awkward. It's very disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah, luckily I didn't have anything quite like that. There were a few classes. I was just kind of I remember they weren't Jessica compatible, but nothing to that point.
I do have to say, architecture, if you want to become an architect, I commend you, because that sucked. That sucks. The stuff they do to you in order to get you to a point to be an architect is absolute horrible hazing. The worst.
Well,
Sorry.
it's such a diverse skill set. I mean, you have to learn so many different things that don't necessarily make sense together in any other industry.
I don't know much of this, but interesting.
Well, I don't know how it is for other. I went to the University of New Mexico, which basically their big things were medical, electronics, and architecture.
Okay.
Like their big schools that they ran the whole entire school around.
Mhm.
And they had a huge architecture building. And I decided I wanted, because I needed to fill up courses and I needed an elective. And I saw there was this one, an introduction to architecture. And it was like a drawing class, you know. And I was like,
Oh.
yeah, I'll take that because it's like drafting and drawing and stuff. And I'll get better, whatnot. And I did get better from that one. That was the only class that really pushed me. But the introduction into architecture specifically is a hazing class to push you to your limits to weed out people.
Yeah.
And I kid you not, within the first 2 weeks, the class was in half.
Yep.
We started with 40, and then there was 20 of us. By the end of the semester, there was only 10 of us that actually went through the class.
Well, they do that in most of the professional programming and the health sciences that I was in. You'd go in the first class and they would tell you flat out, 40% of you are going to be gone by Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
You just won't be able to handle this course. Don't feel bad about it.
Yeah.
And they do it on purpose. They try to scare you into leaving. If you're going to give up that easy, they don't want you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they were angry that I didn't continue.
Stick it to them.
Well, actually, I did a kind of funny thing, which was at my very last project, they make you actually build like a house. You have to design a house for a specific setting, and it has to make sense and stuff like that. And it literally, I spent day and night for like 4 weeks straight, and I almost failed my other classes because of this one class. So when it was finally over, I had my dad rig a tiny bomb inside of it, and I recorded it exploding.
That's pretty funny. After you get your grade and check it off, right?
Yeah, it was and then I emailed them the video, the administration for architecture. I emailed them that video after they gave me the grade, of course.
Okay, bye. That's quite the exit strategy.
It's probably one of the better things I did in college.
I feel so accomplished. It's pretty funny.
There you go.
Hmm.
And I posted it on YouTube. So
Wait, now or you have it on YouTube?
yeah, it's on YouTube. I found it and I put it in the private chat. There's a link to it.
Ooh.
Yep.
Check it out.
Called "Suck This Architecture."
Architect this. Oh man. All right, let's take a quick peek. I'm gonna toss it over to you for a little bit, Craig.
Okay.
Got some lizard hands going on. Catch up on the chat. Okay, where am I? Tobias said music education was good, but super competitive. Maria went to school for computer science so she could learn how to build websites. That's right. You were talking about that earlier.
That's a nice practical skill set to have.
All right. I'm trying to convince people they need my story, but you don't need to convince anyone they need websites. I don't know. Dan said, before I switched to engineering, I did a couple semesters in the art department. It was super toxic. I was in a constant bad mood. And Tobias said the same with music education. That's frustrating. It seems like it's either like really good, like my experience, or just super toxic, and it can be it can be one or the other. Yeah.
I think college was good at one point in time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like maybe earlier in its conception, you know,
Mhm.
but it kind of grew to be this not so much about your education as much as you go there to party and meet people and stuff, and it
Mm-hmm.
became like a drama experience.
Well, I don't know what it's like in the States, but certainly in Canada, there's a lot of argument that the universities have become more about making money for themselves than actually caring about their students, and it's concerning.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got that same thing going on over here, where people like kids are walking out with these debts of like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and they can't even find a job.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You think that's because they're just trying to follow an old paradigm that we're just outgrown?
I think that it's mostly because universities, as I said before, were like professors used to be professionals, and it's actually the whole entire idea came from having apprenticeships from professionals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they were like, well, how do we do this on a bigger scale?
Yeah.
How can we teach more people how to do these things? And that's kind of where it came from. But as time has gone on, those professionals, they retire. They're not professors or professionals anymore. They retire, and then the people they get replaced with are then the student that have never been professionals.
Or whoever is available to fill their position.
Exactly. And so it's like, and then it's just, time goes on and these positions are then getting filled with basically regurgitated rhetoric, not from the actual workforce, but from what they're told about the workforce and whatnot. And, and also over the time, it's kind of crazy is that a lot of the professionals and professors that used to teach were conservative types. That used to teach, and over time it has changed to liberal viewpoints, and that's and I'm not trying to say like that's where it all went wrong or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that it's weird to watch where it came from and where it is now, and you kind of wonder like well, what's the point of why don't we just go back to a system of having professionals do internships and whatnot for these specific things? Like I can understand like doctors and people that need to know electronics and certain things like that. They you kind of have to go to school to learn those things. Like it's very book oriented, knowing knowledge sort of thing. Lawyers, things like that, law. And so it's like that makes sense for those certain things, but things like what we do, art or construction and things like that, it's like, why do you have to go to a college in order to do those things? So
Yeah, and I mean the whole money piece too, if you think about it. Even when they were focused on more sort of like philosophy programs, PhD used to be, doctorate of philosophy. And it was about exploring ideas, and it was very hoity-toity, but I don't know if you're familiar with that term, but anyway.
Yes.
But in order to get a PhD, you had to prove that you had some new idea that benefited humanity or benefited the area of study that you're in, which was a really rare thing. They didn't just hand them out like cookies. It could take you half a lifetime to get a PhD. Now, you just got to pay enough money and stick around for 7 or 8 years and you get your PhD. It's lost some of the value that it used to have because it's about the university making money.
And checking that box and being competitive with other universities.
Yep. You jump through the right hoops and cross your T's and dot your I's and pay your money and you get your PhD. You don't necessarily have to be some brilliant researcher. You just have to put in the time. You know?
Yeah.
In some areas, not in all areas, but.
Mhm.
Can I become a PhD in comic art?
There should be a PhD in comic art.
You know who deserves that PhD? It's Scott McCloud.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
He deserves that.
Because he somehow knows the business and the art side of it, and he knows how to do it perfectly together.
And
And
the
then-
intellectual side.
Huh?
And the intellectual and
Yeah.
philosophical side. Or, you know, like he basically crossed all those T's and checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
He wins. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and throw in a lazy background and call it good. That's not the color I want.
Yeah.
That's reading the comments. Let's see. The Dan is saying the art instructor at the community college was really good. He was pretty methodical and scientific in his art, I think. And then he said, when I went to the university, everyone was like, "LOL, I did it because it's cool. I don't like that because it sucks."
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fun. I graduated IT and I teach graphic design at High School of Applied Arts. Since we grow with digital tech, I had to start with 3D projects. And Joseph also has art education. Yeah, those are handy to have. High School of Applied Arts. It already sounds like it's more constructive.
There's like a lot of cool systems that they're starting to implement, like, you know, teaching CAD and other software that you can use for, you know, mock-ups and creating all kinds of really cool design work and whatnot that I think is really awesome. You know, and I wish, you know, there was classes and courses to teach, you know, well, I would say Blender now, but back then it was 3D
Maya.
Max. Yeah, Maya and 3D Max and stuff like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing like that for me in my college. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's more and more of that kind of stuff available. I think the industry is aware that, you know, some of the people coming out of these online programs that are teaching those skill sets
Mhm.
are the ones they want to hire. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
I kind of missed out on that, and it's definitely more emerging now.
As we've said before, where was this when we were learning?
These
People,
young kids don't know how good they've got it.
Right? They turn on their little iPads. They have all the knowledge at their fingertips. And what do? They play Angry Birds.
Exactly.
Zach, that was so 2010.
Oh, shoot.
Which
I saw that there was an Angry Birds too, so I thought it'd be relevant still.
hate to say it, friend, but we're getting older.
What are they playing on it now? Is Candy Crush still a thing?
I think Candy Crush will outlive most of humans. It's still around.
Yeah.
But what are they playing now? What's the new game
play
that everybody's?
On an iPad? I don't know.
Yeah, there was like Clash of Clans. I know that was like 5 years ago, and
They're still advertising it all on TV around here.
Clash of Clans it is.
Yeah. I can't get over the success of some of those kinds of things, though. Here's a free game you can put on your phone. We'll just charge you $1 here, $1 there to make it easier to play.
Yep.
And they're obviously making millions of dollars on it because they're putting prime time advertisements on TV.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to be making money on it.
Yeah.
Or even like, games that they don't even, they put ads in their games, like how much money they make just from ads inside their games.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous,
Yeah, that's a little crazy.
That stuff drives me crazy.
What really drove me crazy? Flappy Bird, that whole entire thing. I was like, how is this possible? This kid made how much did he make? He made like $28 million in like a week. And then he took the game off the phone. He took it off the store or something because it was too good and too addicting or something. I was like,
how can this be a thing? Well, I can't get over, like, my daughter's like 16 now.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the games that her and her friends are interested in are, some of these mobile things, but they're really simple. Like it's stuff that looks similar to stuff I would have played when I was a kid when they didn't have the technology to do anything any better.
yeah.
A lot of it is really simple, like almost pixel art and text-based kind of
Mm-hmm.
games, and I'm like, this is what you guys are into, okay?
I mean, it's trending in that direction right now.
Yeah.
The last at least decade. That pixel retro
Yeah.
fun. I grew up with the games. I miss some of those old games though that are they're just simple. I remember playing an amazing little game called Castle Infinity, and it was one of the first massively multiplayer online, more whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was great. And they bought the CD, and it came with this really cool pack of I'll throw it back on you for a little bit. Just fun doodads and stickers and all the fun things that you used to get with PC games, and it was a fun community, and it was a really cool game. And I mean, in all of its 90s glory, 90s cartoony animations and 2D. So, and there have been multiple attempts to try and third party resurrect it. But it doesn't conform. Like these days, you got to conform to a certain kind of game where how are you going to accrue money? It's like how somehow with advertising, like that's the go-to.
Mm-hmm.
It just never had that infrastructure. It's not really the right word for it, but yeah, I don't know. Every now and then I'm just like, oh, if they ever resurrect that game again, like let me know. I would
I think I am happy with this.
nice thumbnails.
Yeah. But I tried a couple of things and I didn't feel like they were really working.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I've got kind of the page layout that I want now, so I'm just going to blow that up.
Oh, I see. So you tried a couple other pages.
Yeah, I tried a couple other different things. Bit of a mess there now.
Mm-hmm.
There, but I think this is what I want to go with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That did help though, because the first time I laid it out, if I had just gone with that,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have been happy with it, and I would have, gotten halfway through the page and had to go and change everything.
Yeah. I remember an artist telling me one time, or telling someone, it's like, don't get married to your first drawing or concept or thumbnail or whatever you put down. Like,
Mm-hmm.
easy to, there's always a way to improve it within reason, because at the same time, you don't want to be redoing it a trillion times and actually not making it.
Yeah. Make a decision, but make sure that make sure that you really think about it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
This, yeah, I think this will be good. Now the real work begins.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I forgot one more thing. I'm probably going to just heads up, guys. I probably should wrap it up in about 5 minutes here.
Sure.
And we went, and the time just sped by. It was fun.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll go ahead and show what I'm doing. So I'm pretty much at a happy spot with this, but I'm going to add a wait, did I? Yes, I already did. A little moon glow. So there you go.
That looks great.
Yeah. A little fun
That's super
drawing.
cool.
The moon is a
What you did on the little. Is it a moon or an asteroid?
moon asteroid. It's kind of a.
It's cheese. We'll just call it.
You know what? I love doing these drawings where you're like, it's not going in a book. It's just a drawing. I can do whatever I want. So that's cool. Well, actually, I think I'm probably gonna log off now. I gotta get packing.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Guys,
I was able to catch it.
Nice to see you, Zach.
Eve, is this kind of a good time frame? Do you guys like? Or evening better, earlier? Don't
This
care.
worked out.
This works for me.
Okay. Well, Doc, I'm really glad you could make it this time. It's really good to see you again and just hear what you're up to, and keep us informed on your printer.
Yeah, that's the battle.
My goodness. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys in the chat. Looks like we'll just see everyone next week. I'll probably do this again next week. I might do an evening stream. So I'm going to try and grab a couple of the artists that work during the day. So hopefully they can make it. You are Mountain Time, Zach, is that right?
Oh, I'm the one next to it. The Texas one. Central? Something? I don't know.
You're Central. Okay.
Okay.
And Craig is, I don't even know the term for you.
Atlantic.
Atlantic time. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, guys, hopefully we'll see you again next week, and we'll see everyone in the chat next week. Thank you so much for hanging out.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye.
Have a great weekend. Bye.